morning. So excited to be here now on a sunny Sunday in Bali. It was raining when I awakened this morning, and really it was gentle rain. However, it seemed to be on and on. It was not a shower. It was much rain, clearing things out. And now the sun has come out, and I'm so excited because I love sun. So, what kind of a week have you had? Well, I'm going to use Valor this morning because this has been a really interesting week and a very busy one for Stephen and me. So grab whatever oil, whatever single oil or blend you have chosen around you and apply it. Breathe it in. And we'll play a bowl. I'm also going to apply Valor too to give me additional. And this bottle I noticed a little earlier today is pretty much empty, so I'm just going to sniff and intend that these frequencies move wherever they are required throughout my entire being to bring about harmony, balance, and that extra bit of courage, the valor to move forward, to do those things that I was created to do, those things that I have the ability when I reach down inside. So, as promised, I have a bowl, just one this morning. Most of our bowls are now over at Fuller Life Bali, and I kind of miss them in my office. However, they are there for everyone to enjoy, and we're spending more and more time in the villas over at the center, so I have more to enjoy over there. So take a deep breath and just enjoy. Take a deep breath in. This morning's topic, are you an influencer? This just came to me, as often happens, just in the middle of the week or one morning when I awakened, just somehow the idea of influencer. That's a real buzzword these days, especially since so many of us are spending time online, extra time. And so I thought, well, perhaps it is important first for us to think about, do we choose to be an influencer? Okay. And what is an influencer? It is important. So I went to my Google again, have the definition right here, that an influence is the capacity to have an effect on the character, the development, or the behavior of someone else or something. It can even be the effect itself is the influence. So an influencer would have the capacity to have an effect on the character, the development, or the behavior of another person or another thing. So, do we choose to be an influencer? Well, actually, in actuality, every single one of us is an influencer, whether we choose it or not, because we interact with others on some level continuously throughout our waking periods and possibly even throughout our sleep, particularly if we're posting online. So, what kind of an influence are you having upon others? I'm just throwing that out for you to think about. So, I'm going to apply an oil that is a limited edition, which most of you may not have, but as I apply it, I'm going to intend that these frequencies actually come through the internet to reach you. This is the gift, because I am choosing to intend that every one of us recognize the gift that we are as a human being. We are a gift to all others who interact with us and those that we may not even know about. So I'm going to apply this, intending that the gift of you, the gift of me, the gift of who you are, radiate outward in a positive manner to positively impact others. So, I would like for you to take a moment to think about one event. Just close your eyes, breathing in these frequencies, and think about one event that had an impact upon your life, whether it's a positive, whether we view it as a negative or a not so positive event. Just think about, get that in your mind, and think about whether it was you or whether it was something that happened to you. And now I'd like for you to think about one more thing. Picture one person who had an impact, who had an influence, a positive influence upon you in your life. It can be as a child, teenager, wherever. Just think about this person and just intend to go back to that point, that positive point, and to bring that forward, that energy. What was it about that person? What was it about that event that made such a difference to you? We all have things that we can think about that really change the course of our lives. And each one of us, we may feel, oh, I'm not significant. I'm not an influencer. However, you are continuously influencing others with every single thing you do. Now, if you are into the frequencies, the whole idea of what we've been talking about over the past months of how that frequencies have no boundaries and frequencies interact either harmoniously or they can cause disharmony. However, the frequencies are always interacting, and we are interacting on some level with everything that is around us. So what are we surrounding ourselves with? Are we surrounding ourselves with frequencies that will raise our own frequency? Are we surrounding ourselves with frequencies that will diminish our level, that will drag us down? So, I'm going to talk I may sound like I'm flipping around from place to place. However, communication is a way of interacting with others. It is a powerful way. When we're communicating with others, are we actually communicating what's in our hearts? Are we repeating words that we feel they might choose to hear? This is our own judgment, remember, because no one knows exactly what's in the mind of another, what is truly going on in another. So communication, are we communicating what we are intending to communicate? If we're all influencers, and we are, then what we say, how we say it, what we do is definitely having an impact, an effect upon all others. Whether we think we're insignificant and that no one notices, someone out there notices. If you interact with a single person, whether it's on the internet or because you pass them on the street, if you're allowed to go out, however, if you interact, you are having an effect. Your words, your gestures. Of course, I talk with my hands, so I apologize because that's something that I attempt to minimize. However, it's part of who I am. It's my communication to bring my passion, what's in my heart. Now, as a math teacher, I learned a long time ago that the simplest words I could use were far more effective than the fancy words. And then moving from the U.S. to Singapore 18 and a half years ago, coming to Asia and, of course, coming up against, if you will, or coming into contact with so many different languages, most of whom the people whose first language was not English, I realized that the simplest way I could get the idea across was the most effective. So, how are you getting your message across to others? Are you using the simple words, or are you using the perfect word that no one understands? So it's all about figuring that out. And one of the ways that we can figure things out, many of you, I talk about this fairly often, that I don't prepare ahead of time exactly what I'm going to say in these Facebook Lives. We have almost 4 years of videos, and it's kind of staggering. It's challenging for me to even think about standing up without knowing what I'm going to say. However, the information I trust will come to me so that it will fall upon the ears of those of you listening and in some way have a positive effect. So that is my intent. Now, how do we get to that point? I've done a lot of thinking, and I spend hours, I mean literally hours. Stephen will tell you, from the moment I awaken at 7 o'clock in the morning on Sundays, straight through until I go live at 10:57, I am in my own little world attempting to make that connection so that the energy, not the words necessarily, but the frequencies that come through me will be positive, will affect you the listener, all of you in some kind of a positive way. So when we trust, it's all about developing that trust in our connection with the source. whatever your concept is of that which created your reality. The connection with the source and the trust in what you are hearing, what you're feeling, sensing, whatever it is, that trust, full trust in what is transpiring. This is what is the greatest influence that you have in your life. It's not the influence of what others say. It is not the influence of what others do. The greatest influence is your connection with the source and your guidance. And this may mean disregarding the advice of all of the people that love you and your closest friends and relatives, all of the people. It may mean it may not coincide with what others are telling you. And it may be totally illogical, as it was for me. The major events, those things that had the greatest impact upon me, were things that made absolutely no logical sense. However, I'm so grateful that I trusted in that information, that feeling, that energy, that whatever communication with the source. And as we become stronger in our ability to trust this guidance, this energy, this whatever you choose, however you choose to think about it, it will reduce our stress because we realize finally, we're no longer in charge. Isn't that, it's kind of scary in a way. However, it's also the most powerful thing, single thing that we can understand and embrace of all. It is so powerful to let go of the outcomes. You know, we often make comparisons. Compare. In fact, these words came to me this morning, just a little while ago. It was, comparison is caustic. I love the word. I hadn't thought of the word caustic for a long time. Communication, yes. Even comparison, but the word caustic, that's an erosion. And when we compare ourselves to others on any level, invariably, we take what we perceive to be a weakness. I don't like that word. A lesser strength is more, it makes me feel better. However, we take what we perceive to be a weakness in ourselves, and we find someone whose greatest strength is what we're looking at ourselves. And invariably, the comparison makes us feel inadequate. Would you agree? So we all have done it. We all have to overcome it. And I thought this was really amazing because, you know, when I choose my cards, my rainbow healing cards in the morning, my intent is what will support me in getting a point across so that someone, at least one person, will benefit. Well, the hologram that I selected today, I did this on the app, which all of you can do this on your app. I have my physical cards in front of me. However, I selected them on the app because I feel like that's even more random. Sovereignty. Sovereignty is overcoming fear of rejection, ceasing to look to others for acceptance. It's not an easy thing to do. These are the three glyphs. The forgiveness, which gets rid of our blocks. That's the frequency held by geranium essential oil. the authenticity, the frequency held by both cedarwood and copaiba, the energy of being who we were created to be, not that of another. And then the acceptance, the frequency of frankincense and sacred frankincense. These are the frequencies of allowing us to accept ourselves and others as we are, and to move forward with that confidence in our connection with our Creator, that we are here for some magnificent reason. Every single one of us is here for a purpose. And that as we become stronger and stronger in our own understanding, our own sovereignty, then we have more and more power. And as we become stronger and more sovereign ourselves, then the frequencies that we radiate outward will positively impact others. It's not a question of our intending to influence another away from what they're thinking. Rather, it is more an opportunity to allow our frequencies to enhance others. That is also the way I look at applying and sharing the Young Living essential oils, because everything is about balance, harmonizing our frequencies. So as we move forward through this week, I would challenge you rather to be an influencer. Be an influencer by believing in your guidance. So I'm going to use my belief. I love these belief showers. Believe in your guidance. Trust. It's not about others. It's about you and your Creator. And be inspired. Inspiration. Gary created so many beautiful blends for all of us. And breathe them in with intent. How often did he tell us these oils, these Young Living essential oils, are capable of holding intent? And allow this intent, allow these frequencies to move wherever they are required. And keep track of what goes on this week. And tell us, please feel free to message me or to respond to one of our comments. We have our number of our groups. We have our New Life Journey if you're interested in learning more about Rainbow Healing System. And we'd love to interact with you, to interact as an influence, a positive influence to assist you in believing in your guidance. So have a beautiful week, and I'll see you next week.